Alright, welcome back. It's a beautiful weekend. Figured this would be a good day to do this. So, about 8 years ago, Bruce713 on his Datsun channel, or his 713 channel, which is, by the way, shout out to Houston, Texas. Anyways, he did a really good video on a bumper tuck on his, I believe it was 80 or 81 280ZX. So, same car, just the 82, 83s have color matched bumpers, but his bumper tuck basically took this off and then drained the shocks. I'm going to have a link to his video. He was very descriptive. I'm just going to recreate the video because there should be no differences between the 81 and the 82, 83s. The only difference is his had a license plate right here. Mine's obviously located on the bumper, so I'm going to have to disconnect that. But what I'm going to do is replicate the technique that he showed and see how much of a difference. So this is a before and after, pretty much profile. See how much that sticks out past the profile? It's pretty far. It's like maybe 3.5 inches. So we're gonna move that back 1.5 inches and see how much of a difference that makes. It's probably gonna, yeah, it will expose the muffler more. So I may have to do something about that. Maybe just cut it. I'm gonna get a new exhaust anyway, but we'll see how it looks because I'm not a big fan of the large bumpers because I am gonna get the spoiler mounted pretty soon. But here's what it looks like before the surgery, and then we'll have one after. All right. Okay, so I crawl underneath here to see if there is a difference between the 82s and 83s, and I did see a difference. So there are some additional bolts. Also, if you're lucky enough to have this wiring harness, it's like they spliced into it to connect the license plate on the back of the bumper here, which is pretty rare. Honestly, most of you won't have this issue. But it looks like they spliced into this, so I'm going to have to unsplice it or find some butt connectors so I can take this off, because that's going to be a problem. But in here I can see that we have more than just, look, there's your 4 bolts right on each side of the shock, and then over here there's some 10s over here. We're going to have to address those. There's a whole bunch of them. I hope I don't have to take them all off, but I may have to. Yeah, most likely. So this is probably a lot harder than I thought. Okay, well, drive on. Okay, so I think I solved the problem. I went ahead and took the 2 bolts off this bracket, and so the whole harness comes down. I did unloop it from the fastener right here, so it's gonna be a little bit easier than I thought. I don't have to cut that, thank God. So now I can go ahead and proceed with removing the bumper. So now it's pretty much as the normal 280ZXs. So normally your license plate would be right here. You wouldn't have this garnish, I guess. I'm really not a big fan of this, but I know it's collectible, so I decided to leave it alone. Some people hate them, I get it. But I'm not doing much damage to this car. Some of the purists out there would say, hey, don't stop. But I'm just gonna push it back 1.5 inches just to clean it up a little bit. All right, moving on. All right, so I did notice some changes. Is right here, you're gonna have these yellow tabs. You're gonna have to press those so you can press this part of the bumper out before you take those 4 bolts off, because otherwise it's gonna hang up, because that's actually attached to the chassis. It's metal. So yeah, I'm going to pinch those and push them out, and then I can take those 4 bolts off. These don't look like they're attached to the chassis, so it's really, like you said earlier, it's these 4 right here and this 4 over there I got to worry about. That's it. I mean, there are some subtle changes between the 79 to 81s. I know 82s, 83s, the bumpers are different. I believe Bruce's is in the 80 or 81 category. All right, we'll see. Okay, I looked at them a little bit better. Those yellow tabs actually are not connected, so I shouldn't have to take those off. So I'll correct myself. Don't take those off, okay? Don't do it. Just go and proceed with the 4 bolts. I'm just being very careful with this car because I want to make sure I get this right, because there is some changes, but not too big of a difference. Something else I noticed, these screws are extremely loose. I mean, once they weren't even on that tight, 43 years, but you know, once I broke the seal right there, these things come right off my fingers. So go for it, you know, don't kill yourself, but this is gonna be easier than I thought. Okay, it's a lot easier than I thought. I'm almost done here. And once I get this last one out, I'm going to slide this out, and then we'll go proceed with drilling the holes, draining the fluid. Okay, so I forgot to hit record. I had the thing on me. I thought I hit record, but here it is. I just literally pushed on it and landed on my lap. This thing was probably about, shit, probably about 55 pounds. Well, no big deal. Got it. It's in my, literally in my lap. I just, whoops. That was easy. Okay. Okay, so there she is. Pretty clean, great condition. This is, I mean, I guess there is a big difference in the bumpers for this second gen. Anyways, now here comes the fun part. We're going to tape this up right here, and we're going to drill a little test hole or pilot hole, and then drill all the way through, and then drain this fluid, and then compress it and drill a hole through the side and lock it tight so it won't come out. That's the next step. What a difference this thing looks bumperless. I mean, just look at this. It's almost like a, I can see the lines of the 240. You know, I get it. A lot of people do this. So you get that 240-ish look from the, you know, the series ones with shaped bumpers, but this looks pretty cool. Getting kind of like a 240 S14 vibe, or S13 vibe from this angle. What do you think? Okay, so I went ahead and taped off the vital bits here before the surgery here. And I'm going to go ahead and, I just started to do a little pilot hole right there to the side. Once I relieve the pressure, you're going to see fluid come out, and you're going to push it all out, let it catch, and then once it's completely compressed, then we're going to drill a hole in the side. Okay, so obviously I couldn't catch it on film one-handed, but I went ahead and drilled the hole through, and when it did, it made a nice, there is pressurized gas or oil. So now I'm going to take a dead blow to it and see if we can get it to compress and break that seal, and then get all this fluid to come out. All right, I took a couple whacks to it, and I already did loosen it up somewhat. You can see it now, and it's going to start pushing fluid. Looks like it's not. It might be empty. It might have been gas. Who knew, right? So it looks like it's, there is a difference between the well, let's see. I'm trying to squeeze it in there. Yeah, this thing's empty. It may have been just a gas cylinder on the 82s, 83s. The 79 to 81s definitely had oil. I'm not getting any fluid out of this thing. That's a good thing. Holy crap, this might be a lot easier of a mod for the 82 and 83s, but I know the bumpers are noticeably different, and that is something I just found out. How about that? Look at that. Yeah, this is going to be a lot easier of a mod if you have an 82 or 83 280ZX. Otherwise, it's messy for the 79 and 81. Either there was no oil to begin with, or this was gas. I'm believing it is, and there is a noticeable difference. Look how much is compressed. I haven't even started on this one yet. Hell yeah. Okay, so I went and got the tape measure. Turns out, according to this is a 1-inch delete. Cool. And over here, it's about 3 inches, so 2 inches in difference. That's not bad. Let's get the red out. There, the neck. There, yeah. So 2 inches. A 2-inch reduction, but that's not bad. So we're gonna go ahead and complete this and put it back together. I think the only thing I have to worry about now is moving the bumper back, the muffler back a little bit. I am going to go with a new exhaust system, but I really want to make this kind of snug. It's going to stick out too much. All right. There you go. That's it. Compressed gas. And there is a little bit of oil or moisture in there. Okay. There was some validity to that. It is literally water. So let's get that to drip in there. That's not oil though, is it? Yeah, it looks like a little bit of oil. So the other one must have been completely empty. That's weird. Okay, so this one, correction, thought the 8283s didn't have it. Sorry, Bruce, you were right. This one had some oil in this one. That one had gas. It's so weird. Yep. That's why we have a catch can. What a mess. All right, so this one had oil, the other one did not. So those of you that have 8283s, it's, yeah, after 43 years, what do you expect, right? 42, 43 years. I'm glad I had the catch can. So yes, to err on caution, go ahead and just have that on standby. He might need it. All right, so, all right, let's clean this up. Okay, now that all the fluid's drained out, I'm going to go to the 1/4 inch 20 by 3 inch. That should be the right diameter to fit here. And then what I used to do to bleed it was a 1/8 tungsten carbide tip. And then what I have here is a 5/16, which I'm going to be slightly large diameter for this to go right in here. So I'm going to go in that side part right here, and we're going to lock it down. Okay, so now that once you got the hole drilled all the way through, all right, we're gonna thread this bolt all the way through. So shoot it right in. All right, that's what I'm talking about. And then lock it down. Probably could have went with a smaller bolt, but you know what? That's probably what. Probably could have got away with a 2-inch bolt. So, in the description, get the 2-inch one from Home Depot. Should be good to go. Something else I noticed, since I took exactly 2 inches off this shock right here, I know the trim lined up perfectly with this, like within 1/8 of an inch on the side here. I may have to cut the trim on the bumper by 2 inches just so it won't overlap over this, because most likely it's going to go over this. Yeah, so I'm going to probably have to measure carefully on the bumper. Cut accordingly. Let's see what we got here. How about that? Just like there's already a line there. Who knew, right? Now, is that exactly 2 inches? Yeah, sure. This might be easier than I thought. I'm still gonna have to cut that angle though. So I can cut this and then trim that. Yeah, this might work. I'll try not to mess this up. I mean, it's a really pristine bumper. I probably shouldn't do it at all. I might mount it first to see how much it goes over that. Let's see if it's even necessary. It might smooth over pretty nice and neat. We'll see before I go that route, but I know I have the option. Okay, so I went and grabbed that bumper. So, question in the chat on the European 286 Turbo. I know I mentioned that little notch right there. It seems about cutting that would make it fit. So I went ahead and slid it on, and it does overlap pretty nicely. I mean, look at that. I mean, what a difference that made. Shit. I mean, I might not have to cut anything. I might just leave it like that for a while until I get my new bumper. I just roll like this, and when I get my new bumper, I can sell this original bumper, uncut bumper. For now, I think I might be able to tolerate that. I mean, yeah, I could cut it and make it fit perfectly, but I know how much this bumper's worth if I was to sell it or just sit on it. I mean, for now, I can probably live with the overlap, but look at the back end on this thing though. What a difference that made. I haven't even tightened it down yet, you know, so I might be able to squeeze another 1/2 inch there. Sorry, I'm trying to make puns. But yeah, that looks a whole lot different than before. I mean, that is literally a 2-inch tuck. I would call this a win. It looks pretty good. I mean, yes, if you wanted to, you could trim this and angle it and fit flush. It would be nice and neat, but I'm about to tighten this down. I mean, I'm cool with that. That looks a lot better. I just gotta do something about that tip. Some people like an exposed muffler like that. Me personally, I don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull that back. I'm just gonna go back 2.5, 3 inches. Yeah, about 3 inches. We'll go from there. All right, so this is it. I basically went ahead and mounted the bolts by hand, finger tight. There's 4 right here, right? So I did the 2 bottom ones and couldn't reach the top with a socket or the bottom. It's so tight. You're gonna have to get yourself a 12mm ratchet style wrench, okay? O'Reilly's for the win, right? Always have the right tool. So I had to run and get this just so I can get the other 2 nuts up here and tighten these down really well. And then the last thing is to cut 3 inches, or move the muffler back 3 inches, and we should be good to go. But other than that, very, very noticeable. Look at that. It's almost flush, So that's a 2¼ inch tuck on the 280ZX. This is a lot easier than I thought. It was really just 8 12mm bolts, and that thing comes off. And it should be a lot easier for the normal 280ZXs. You don't have to worry about the wiring harness for the license plate. It's a fairly easy hack. And it does go over this pretty nice, but I did notice this perforated line, which is exactly, well, it's about 1.5 inches. I'm wondering if the European models, since they didn't have the restrictions for 5 mile an hour bumpers like we do in the States, they probably didn't have to have shock absorbers, and these bumpers were a lot more tucked in. A lot more so. It seems obvious. Like I could literally just cut this right here along this line and then hatch it right there and it'd fit a lot better. But I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. Doesn't look that bad actually. But it does give it that more of that 240 vibe look. I mean, it is very similar. I like it, so I'm gonna keep it this way. But yeah, there we go. And then when I do get my new bumper, I may sell this one. I'll let you know in the comments, or I might just sit on it. Who knows? So, but I did have to do the tuck. There we go. Anyways, let me know what you think. Fairly easy modification. Like and subscribe. Enjoy the ride.